Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the 11th of July, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. 12 fires are reported to have erupted across the country in the last 24 hours, specifically in Gjirokasta, Shkodër, Vaqarr, Elbasan, Tiran, Korç, Fier and Dibër. The Civil Emergency Service has advised that 115 firefighting teams, 50 military forces, 79 volunteers and helicopters are all engaged in the operations to extinguish the flames. The Director of Civil Emergencies has asked for intervention from the Viva Helicopter Company in order to extinguish the fires due to the rugged terrains and mountainous areas, especially in the area of Dibër. The helicopters are required to aid the firefighting teams, state police forces and City Hall's forces in order to combat the fire, reads the request the Civil Emergency Service issued to the helicopter company. Viva responded positively by sending a helicopter to Dibër to remain at the disposal of the firefighting teams. The teams have worked under the intensely difficult conditions throughout the entire night. In the Dibër region, a fire broke out in a forest of oak trees in a mountainous terrain. In Patin village of Klos, fire engulfed an area of bushes and pines, burning about 4 hectares of bushes and pine trees. Should you see any signs of fires, please contact emergency services immediately. As promised, Prime Minister Edi Rama today began the hearings with citizens, starting with the local residents of the Vaqarr area. The Prime Minister presented his governing platform, Albania We Want, explaining that it guarantees co-governance with the citizens. The Prime Minister spoke of a big coalition, the Socialist Party and the citizens. He declared that, moving forward, the citizens will be an active part of the government. The Prime Minister asked citizens to assist in improving the government throughout the next 4 years. A big coalition between the Socialist Party and citizens, the common people who want to be part of the governance, will be formed. Creating a real co-governance is completely possible. Any citizen with goodwill can become part of the government, along with ministers, members of parliament and Socialist Party leaders. The Socialist Party will rule the country without any coalition with any other parties, only with the citizens. Citizens can communicate in real time about their problems, the different initiatives the government will take, about any decision making, and of course, we welcome people's suggestions, declared Prime Minister Rama, emphasising that the citizens' responses should be listened to at the highest level of government. He added, therefore, that every institution will have a special unit whose aim is to ensure co-governance. The residents of the Vaqarr area spoke about their concerns, which are mainly related to road infrastructure, property issues and socio-economic issues. The tour of hearings will be held all over the country, with political leaders of 12 cities drafting a report by the end of July. The report will be sent to the government and to the City Hall offices. In continuation of his campaign activity, the candidate for DP chairman Lulzim Basha today held a meeting with the Democrats of Tirana, to whom he told that the political agreement of May 18 reached between him and the Prime Minister resulted in failure. According to Mr Basha, the mechanisms for vote buying and manipulation of elections could not be stopped. Mr Basha considers the majority to be fictitious and added that it can never be a legitimate government. Even though May 18 legitimised our righteous cause for all Albanians and for the international community, it could not stop or destroy the vote-buying mechanism. You all know this, the Democrats know it too. We had a political opponent who had already prepared the electoral terrain with the massive distribution of drug money, to change the citizens' will. This was the climate of the campaign and elections of June 25, declared Basha, adding that this majority reflects the massive vote buying. The government that came out of these elections can never be a legitimate government and has no chance to govern in a justifiable and fair way, not only because it does not come out from the citizens' will, but also because it has no plan and no vision. The economy is in collapse, public finances are in collapse, and they do not have a solution to this, stated Basha, adding that the Democratic Party fought to return the power to the citizens, but according to him, everything vanished thanks to the commitment of the gangs and distribution of money coming from drugs. Further engaging in his campaign for DP chairman, Edward Selami also held meetings with the Democrats of Tirana today, promising to return the lost identity to the Democratic Party. According to Mr. Selami, the Democratic Party continues to lose because it has abandoned the Democrats and the main pillars of democracy, resulting in the party undergoing an identity crisis. We continue to lose as we have abandoned the Democrats and we have abandoned the structures of democracy. We will return more powerful only if we establish these foundations, and they must be stronger than ever, said Selami. He went on to call for a sincere analysis of the problems, as he said the solution will not be found by pointing out others' mistakes. It's time for a sincere analysis. It is not enough to see what the opponent is doing. I am part of the group that thinks that when something goes wrong, we should look at what we could have done differently in order to achieve a different outcome. Those people who blame others never progress or succeed, added the candidate for DP chairman. Mr. Selami thinks that the contemporary model of leadership he brings will win these elections. I'm convinced that contemporary leadership will win, which is unfortunately missing at the moment in Albania. The important thing is that we come out united from this process and recover. The opponent is not among us, declared Selami, who has stated that he considers the race to be unequal. However, he has entered this race to improve the party and utilise his experience to recover the Democratic Party. The Socialist Movement for Integration held the first meeting of its chairmanship after the National Convention of the party. In the meeting, the former party chairman, Petrit Vasili, was appointed as the head of the SMI's parliamentary group. Being in the opposition now, the Socialist Movement for Integration made a complete restructure of the party, setting special duties to each director in order to face the new political situation. The vice chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration, Luan Rama, declared in a media statement that the elections were shameful, as he believes it was dictated by vote buying with money coming from drugs. He added that the SMI is preparing a strong oppositional front. We made an evaluation of the political situation. The emphasis is on the necessity to create an oppositional front against the government that showed irresponsibility before and during the electoral process, which was a criminalised process dominated by money coming from crime and drugs, declared the SMI's vice chairman. The SMI chairmanship has appointed a work group to organise a summer camp in Yal, where young people from the International Socialist Party will be present. The summer camp starts this weekend. The chairman of the Central Election Commission, Clement Zguri, announced today that the political parties can no longer file complaints for the June 25 elections. Political parties had the right to file any complaint until the close of business yesterday. The parties had the right to ask for any appeals in the election results. The right was used by the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity, who contested the result in Tehran, the Democratic Party, who contested the result in Berat, and the Socialist Party, who also contested the election result in Tehran. Starting today, the parties cannot contest any election result. The Central Election Commission will review the complaints filed before July 20. The legal deadline for the review of complaints is 10 days after the complaint has been filed, declared the CEC chairman. The chairman also called on the task force of the Council of Ministers and on the Department of Public Administration to make public the violations they noticed during the monitoring of elections. Tirana's City Hall will fund 3 projects for the capital prepared by architects from Harvard University in cooperation with Albanian students. Tirana's Mayor, Erion Veliaj, today attended a public hearing session with the architectural team, presenting the 3 major projects. The first project is for a central park located at the new boulevard. The second project offers the creation of new suburban neighbourhood centres across Tirana, with Combinat expected to be the first neighbourhood enriched with its own suburban central area. The third project involves upgrading the facades of buildings across Tirana. The project for the creation of a central park at the new boulevard, called Project William, will utilise a big space at the left side of the boulevard. The space is 6 times bigger than Rainier Park, and it is expected to be viewed by the citizens as the new central park of the capital. Whilst a number of neighbourhoods may see a suburban centre created across Tirana, the planning is all specifically concentrated on reinvigorating the Combinat area. The third project is related to the complete transformation of facades across Tirana, which will be a long-term project, declared the Mayor. Mr Vasili added that he is aware that projects undertaken by City Hall always cause debates, but that they always result in successes. I do not know whether there are enough books in the world to write down all the debates and arguments about the square, but here we are today when facts can be seen and air pollution measurements show that pollution at Skanderberg Square is below the allowable limit as set by the European Union, said Vasili. The 3 projects are part of the general local plan that includes some other polycentric centres in Tirana. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.